One summer, Cao Cao led the troops to attack Zhang Xiu. The weather was hot and there were no clouds in the sky. It was a long march through the mountains. It was the blazing heat of the sun. There was no trace of water. The soldiers were breathless. By noon, the soldiers' clothes were soaked with sweat and the speed of the soldiers slowed down. Some of the soldiers fainted and collapsed. Cao Cao saw the marching speed slower and was worried that his attack plan would be delayed. The morale of the soldiers was down. But without even a drop of water, how would thousands of soldiers and horses speed up? He immediately called the guide and quietly asked him, "Is there water in the vicinity?" The guide shook his head and said, "The spring is on the other side of the valley, and it is a long road to reach there." Quench thirst by thinking of plums. Cao Cao thought for a while and said, "No, we do not have time." He looked at the woods in front and thought for a while. He said to the guide, "Don't say anything, I will find a way." Cao Cao knew that even if he ordered his soldiers to speed up, it would not work. Cao Cao mounted on his horse and rushed to his army. He took his whip, pointed to the front and said, "Soldiers, there is a large grove of plum trees ahead. The plums are big and juicy. Let's hurry up with our journey. We just need to pass the hill and we will reach the plum trees." When the soldiers thought of the juicy plums, their mouths watered, and at that moment they did not feel so thirsty. Cao Cao at once ordered his troops to march on. They came to a big river. Everyone drank the water and continued with his journey. The moon cake. Once a little boy had a cake that a big boy envied. Planning to get the cake, the big boy said, "The cake would be prettier if it were like the moon." The little boy gave the cake to the big boy to make the necessary changes. The big boy took out a mouthful of cake, leaving a crescent with uneven edge. The little boy was not happy with the change and began weeping. The big boy consoled him by saying that he would make the cake into a half moon. So he ate the sides of the crescent and nibbled the edge smooth. But when the half moon was made, the little boy noticed that there was hardly any cake left, and he again began crying. The big boy then said that just before the new moon is seen, the old moon disappears. Then he quickly gobbled up the remaining cake and left the little boy waiting for the new moon. The Fox and the Raven. Once upon a time, a fox saw a raven sitting on a tree with a piece of meat in its beak. The fox was very fond of meat, and when he saw it in the raven's beak, he was determined to have it. The fox went near the tree, sat down under it, looked up to the raven, and began to praise him. "Oh, my dear friend, how wonderful you look today. Your color is pure black. That shows that you have the wisdom of Lao Tse, who knows how to preserve his obscurity. The way you feed your mother equals Master Chang's solicitude for his parents. You are indeed the king of birds." The raven was deeply flattered and said, "You are too kind," and before Raven knew it, had dropped the piece of meat from its open beak. The fox ate it up, laughed and said, "Remember, my friend, whenever anyone sings your praises without cause, he is after something." Long, long ago, there was a man named Sima Guang. He was an outstanding politician and a renowned historian. When he was 7 years old, he liked to play in his backyard with his friends Wang Wei, Lina, and Zhang Yong. One day, when they were playing in the yard, Wang Wei said, "I bet I can go up to the top of the vat." A water vat is a very big tank used for keeping rainwater. Lina asked him not to go to the top of the vat as it was too high. "It is not too high for me," said Wang Wei. "Come down here and play," said Sima Guang. "No, I will go up," said Wang Wei. He did not listen and went on the top of the water vat. When he was at the top, he called, "Look at me," and he lifted one of his legs up in the air. Sima Guang breaks the vat. "That is good," said Zhang Yong. Suddenly, he fell into the water-filled vat. I cannot swim, he called. The water is too deep. He was struggling inside the vat. Everyone was anxious. We must run for help, said Lena. No, that will take too long, said Sima Guang. Then we cannot do anything to help, yelled Lena in fear. Ah, yelled Zhang Yong in fear too. Sima Guang remained calm. He saw a big rock and picked it up. He then pounded it hard on the water vat. The vat did not crack. He picked up the rock and hit it again. There was a very small crack this time. He threw it again. Then a bigger crack cropped up. He kept throwing it again and again on the vat. All at once, a very big wave of water flew out of the broken water vat, and with the flow of water, out rolled Wang Wei.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.